Guys, the Nintendo Switch is fire! And if I had cool special effects and good editing software, you would get the fire right now. But it is awesome. There are third-party developers going left and right, supporting it, except EA because EA sucks, but we all know EA sucks at this point. They are the bad guys of gaming after all. But you know what? Spike Chunsoft has been supporting the Nintendo Switch left and right. They're coming out with the new game, AI, the Somnium Files. They have Steins Gate on the Nintendo Switch, which is... it's wonderful, excellent stuff, man. But although they have these great games on the platform itself, I kind of just feel like it's missing something. You know, one of their bigger IPs, one of those super impactful franchises that just make you go, wow, that's what we needed. What is that? What could that possibly be? Oh yeah, baby. That's right. Guys, it's time for us to get some Monokuma action on the Nintendo Switch. Let's do it. I need some Monokuma love on my Nintendo Switch. Do you hear me, Spike Chunsoft? I love this franchise. Danganronpa is the tits. There's no other way to say it. It is just one of the best things that has ever happened to video games. But you know what? I need it on the go, and I need it now. And no, the PS Vita doesn't count. So, before we get ahead of ourselves, I just want to tell you guys a little bit about Danganronpa, the series itself, and kind of give you an idea of what the games are about. They are technically visual novels. I was actually kind of surprised. I didn't know what to classify this game as, but a lot of people consider these types of games visual novels, which I don't actually agree with, because in a visual novel, you know, you kind of just like dialogue options and the story goes for you and that's it. But Danganronpa is so much more than that, and I'll get back to that later, but right now I just want to cover the story real quick. And the premise of each game is basically the same thing. You are students sent to Hope's Peak Academy, the place where most of these games take place, and you're basically given the promise that if you can graduate Hope's Peak Academy, you are set for life. You are usually the best at something, but not to go into all the details, it is all an elusive trap set by Monokuma himself, that sexy mofo right there in the chair, and he just basically wants you guys to murder each other, and if you can get away with murder, you will be set free and you won't die. So it gives this crazy dilemma right from the get-go, and the game just never stops. It doesn't go from 0 to 60, it goes from 0 to 60, then 60 to 100, then 100 to 200, and it is amazing. And while people will call this a visual novel type of game, I can see where they're coming from, but the difference between Danganronpa and any other visual novel you've probably ever played is the sheer fact that you do a lot more than just select dialogue options and have a story told to you. You literally have to solve, for example, the crime scenes, and then you go to a thing that's called the class trial, where you basically call your fellow peers out on their BS. And during this whole class trial thing, you'll have all these little mini puzzles and things to solve along the way, and to put together, for example, the entire murders and convince your other fellow classmates that this douchebag murdered this other douchebag. It is excellent. Just, it's so much fun trying to figure out literally who done it. But it doesn't stop there, because outside of the murder mystery parts of the game, there's the whole character and bonding with your fellow peers as well. You can get to know them better. You can build actual relationships with them. There are collectibles in these games that you can find. There is extra stuff for you to do while you're taking a break from the class trial. I love how much detail there is in this game, and not only that, there are so many different art styles. They go from 2D to 3D to anime to cutscenes to just all the different things they render in this game is what keeps it entertaining. It's so much fun, and I really appreciate the time and effort they put into the Danganronpa series, and they find new ways to keep this game similar and yet different. It always keeps you on your feet no matter which game you play, and even better, if you haven't played the first one, you don't technically have to play them in order. They all have their own separate stories, although some of the characters might return from game to game, so that's pretty cool. And of course, to top all of that off, the soundtrack. As a matter of fact, what you are listening to in the background is from Danganronpa Volume 3, Killing Harmony. It's, oh gosh, it's so good. Everything about these games are just polished to a T, and not every single thing, is in my opinion, necessarily a success. Some things can be even a little bit tedious, but the core part of this series and what it offers is just such a unique experience when compared to whatever other game you play. It's something different. I think that's why the fans of Danganronpa really love this series with a passion. It's just because they're tired of playing the standard, FPS or Battle Royale game. They wanted something different, and Danganronpa is always going to be that different thing. If you just need a break from what everyone else is doing, Danganronpa is the perfect game for you. So, why does this game matter, and why does it need to come to the Nintendo Switch? Now that you've heard me gush about this game for several minutes, the reason why this needs to come to the Nintendo Switch is because it is just the perfect game to play on the go. And like I said earlier, yes, it is on the PlayStation Vita, but you know what? Not a lot of people have the PlayStation Vita, whereas the Nintendo Switch is already getting up to almost 40 million units sold, and it hasn't even been out for 3 years. This is a match made in heaven for all Nintendo Switch owners, and once again, compared to all the other games that you can play on the Nintendo Switch, this game is the game that is extremely different from the bunch, and you can play these games perfectly while sitting on a bus or a plane or on the toilet, just on the go. And if I could just give you an idea of how awesome this series is, I have all 4 of the games, which are the 3 main ones, and the spin-off one on PC and PS4. I have double dipped on all of them, and if this series came out for the Nintendo Switch, I would easily, without hesitation, triple dip for these games because they are just that unique and fun. So if you hear me, Spike Chunsoft, please make these games for the Nintendo Switch. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to start the hashtag Danganronpa for Switch. I think it's a worthy cause, and Nintendo Switch owners deserve the opportunity, in my opinion, to play these great, wonderful, completely bizarre and crazy games. Well, guys, it's out of my hand now. I really do hope it comes to the Nintendo Switch. I love Danganronpa so much. I love all their games. Like I said, I've bought them on PC and PS4, and I would easily triple dip just to have them on my Nintendo Switch. So if you hear me, Spike Chunsoft, please consider this from a die-hard fan, and I will see you guys on the next Overrated video. I am Bradley Overrated. I like a trout. Have a good one, guys.
Poo-hoo-hoo! It's Monokuma time! Why am I doing this? Poo-hoo-hoo!
Okay, I'm done.